So after the last video where I was telling you about someone who was saying this quiet space, it doesn't seem to be enough, this pause, it doesn't change anything. And then I got a message from my daughter and she was saying, "Mom, I've been pausing." And it made me smile. And it made me reflect on, I think if you've watched some of my other videos about her journey, and when she was 13, she wrote me that note saying, I'm so, she said, I'm sorry for being so angry, and it's just that I'm so scared. Inside this story, I feel trapped inside it. And it was almost like she was telling me that she was trapped inside the waterfall, and she was feeling terrified. And I just look at her then and I look at her now. And I've been talking to her for a while, about noticing that little space before she jumps into some of those more repetitive thoughts, the thought patterns that we don't see as thought, the ones that we can get lost inside, and they just kind of look more familiar and more real. And she can have a bit of a tendency to jump inside them, just like we all can. And I realized that you can't force awareness on someone else. It just kind of grows within us. And the less I try to make her see something, the more she seems to see it for herself. It's like bringing her into that pool that I talked about in the last video. It's a quiet space before we engage with the story, with the waterfall of our thinking. And I haven't told her that pause is enough. I've just simply said, what if it is enough? And when she tells me about something that she might be struggling with or stuck in, I might just ask, did you pause? I don't say, oh my God, you need to pause. She doesn't need to do anything. This isn't another thing to achieve or another goal to get to, or it's simply about noticing. And she was pretty elated when she told me, it's just now, she told me that she's seeing this for herself. And she's feeling it. She's feeling that insight, that change within her. And then she told me something that made me laugh. She said that she's been planning to get this simple silver ring for her 21st. And she said, can we change the engraving? And I was like, yeah, sure. What do you want to change it to? And she was like, it's going to say pause.